right, a little Black Label Society to start us off here. This is the Technology Geek podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Lipani, the Technology Geek, and this is our 20th podcast that we've 20 already. It's amazing how fast they go by, but we are glad that you're all here with us in the Technology Geek, our weekly podcast. As always, you can follow me at the website, obviously, thetechnologygeek.org, as well as on Twitter at LipaniTech, and as well as Google+. And let me tell you, a lot going on in the world of tech here today. And we're here to, first of all, before I start anything, I guess I should mention our wonderful sponsors. Our first sponsor, as always, Audible. Wonderful service, by the way. I use Audible personally myself. You go ahead and they have a wonderful giveaway for everybody. The audibletrial.com/techgeek, and wonderful service. I like listening to audiobooks when I'm on the go, in the car, driving, all that type of stuff. They really are really just a wonderful service, and we're very lucky to have them. And again, that's audibletrial.com/techgeek, and they really are really wonderful service. And I use them myself. I like to listen to audiobooks on the go. Right now, what am I listening to right now? I'm doing some I always am a big biography person. I've been listening to stuff about presidents and stuff like that. I actually listened to Rick Harrison's book, License to Pawn. There's actually another one coming up by the gentleman that owns the pawn shop up in Detroit, Les. He actually has a book coming out as well. Scott Staff from Creed as well has a book out as well. Quite a lot in the queue, but unfortunately you can only listen to so much. As far as the fiction stuff goes, Sherlock Holmes, stuff like that. So, really, a lot going on as far as the book world goes. For me, but unfortunately you can only listen to so many books. But go ahead and if you sign up for that Audible trial, you'll get one free download, so you can get one free book. So again, that's audibletrial.com/techgeek. And let's not forget about our other sponsor, a new sponsor, actually, ProXPN. Wonderful service for security. It's a VPN service. You can complete online privacy with 2048-bit encryption key. And a 512-bit encryption tunnel. It works over OpenVPN. It works via OpenVPN, PPTP. Protects yourself against your ISPs. It really is a wonderful service. You can bypass internet filtering and blocked websites if you're at hotels and stuff like that. They also have a client that works with the iOS and the Android devices. 24/7 customer service. They really are a wonderful sponsor. They work on as well on Microsoft and as well as the Mac. And they're available in U.S., UK, and Asia for our Canadian and European listeners as well. Like I said, if you want to go ahead and they have their premium accounts are normally $9.95 a month or $74.95 for an entire year. We got a special offer code for you. Use the coupon with our code TechGeek, TECGEK, TechGeek, and they use our offer code, and you receive 20% off for the lifetime of your account. So go ahead and use that offer code. We'd appreciate if you put the coupon in, so we get the credit for it. And it really is a wonderful service. And again, that's proxpn.com. And if you want to go /podcast and put in our coupon code TECGEK, and this way we get the credit for it, and you get 20% off. So wonderful service, and one of the perks of listening to our wonderful podcast. And as well, let's not forget about, of course, our other sponsor, Dollar Shave Club. You get blades in the mail every month. You don't even have to leave your door. They have blade programs as low as $6 a month. They really are a wonderful service, and they're expanding, and just a wonderful company. I use them myself. They're actually such a great company. I actually reached out to them myself, so I recommend using them. And again, that's Dollar Shave Club. You can go to our site, click on the link, and they'll give you they'll give you a little bit of a discount on your first purchase, and that's a Dollar Shave Club. And they really are a wonderful sponsor. And they're on the website, our website, thetechnologygeek.org. So a lot going on in the world of tech this week, as always. Obviously, Chromecast. Obviously, a very huge thing going on with them right now. They sold out on Amazon in record time. They're a wonderful, really looks like what definitely has some potential. As far as their product. Listening, obviously, watching, Netflix, YouTube. all that stuff, right on the site. And this thing apparently plugs. I mean, it's $35. It plugs into your TV, and like I said, you can watch for $35. You watch HDMI. It's like a dongle. It does HDMI and all that type of stuff. It basically mirrors like a tablet or a smartphone or something like that. It really is a wonderful service. I like the fact you can watch YouTube on your TV. I don't have one actually yet. I've been trying to get one, but unfortunately they've been sold out very, very quickly. It's used over the Wi-Fi. It gives you remote control of content. Really is wonderful. I actually, like I said, I want to get one, but I haven't been able to get my hands on one. But definitely looks like something I'm going to try out. It's a 2-inch device. It's a simplified version of the Chrome OS. It requires separate USB power. You connect to it through your local Wi-Fi network. It finds all similar connection device. You can right off Google's Play Store, but eventually they're sold out. So as well as I've been trying to get one off of Amazon, it's sold out as well. So. It's really, really cool. But like I said, it's pretty interesting because, like I said, it's already sold out. So kudos to Google, for coming up with such a great device. So good for them. Like I said, it resembles a tablet. So it actually is a really neat device, and hoping to get my hands on one very soon. Obviously, a lot going on in the world of business tech. Obviously, Microsoft stock dropping 11%. That was a huge thing the other day. Microsoft, when they released their earnings report, says they have over 400 million people with Windows running a desktop. So that's pretty impressive, especially when it's coming out that people are the OS is dying, but they still have 400 million people running the desktop OS. So I don't know who to believe right now. I mean, I do see PC sales declining. We know that's happening, but it's kind of hard to say yet whether it's because of Windows 8 or why they're declining. I think it still remains to be seen. I mean, I think we'll have a leveling off. I think 8 is part of that, so we'll see what happens. Obviously, 40% of Windows is still XP right now, so that's pretty interesting. So, like I said, I'm curious to see. I know they're saying the desktop OS is dying, but I don't know. I think it depends more on really what's gonna, really on what Windows does. It determines whether the desktop OS is gonna go out or not. I think they're forcing people. Right now, I think a lot of people are holding off because of how bad 8 is. But we'll see with this new release of 8 coming out here, 8.1. We'll see, how if that helps. And looks like they're probably going to bring back the start button and all type of stuff. So we'll see what happens with that. But I really think it depends on what Windows does. Depends on the future of the desktop. So obviously Microsoft doing that big reorganization. You've seen it, we've talked about that and all this other stuff. That they're reorganizing and they're going to redo the way they do business and all that. So Microsoft definitely trying to be prepared for the future. But right now, obviously they're not. They're having some growing pains right now. I think Steve Ballmer is part of that problem, but we don't know. We'll see as time goes on. I mean, obviously he hasn't been the best CEO we've seen at Microsoft, but be as it may, he's still he's still the CEO, and this reorganization may help things. But I don't think they're going to let people finish up their projects and all that. So I think it's going to be a year or two before we really see how the reorganization really affects people. So I would say wait another year or so before we really, get see how things are going to go with the reorganization. So as a lot of people know, Black Hat is going on right now as we speak. Unfortunately, though, a very, very sad thing happening. Of course, very sad day today in the security industry. Well-known hacker Barnaby Jack, passed away. Sending a real shock through the security community. Obviously, Jack is famed for his ATM hacking bit that he did. I believe it was last year at the last DEF CON, I believe it was, that he did that. So it's really, really, really sad. Obviously this year he was supposed to do a big thing on vulnerabilities, in implantable medical devices. So wonderful mind, definitely a wonderful, definitely a wonderful mind in the security industry, definitely wonderful mind. A wonderful presenter as well. I always really enjoyed his presentations. I used to watch him on YouTube and all that after, they were out. But really a shame, big loss for the industry. And he's his cause of death is unknown right now. Some people obviously throw up the conspiracy flags. We don't really know much more, except that he passed away, and that that hour that he was going to use at Black Hat now is going to be dedicated to a memorial for him. So very good that they're honoring him, and wonderful guy. I actually knew him. I had talked to him, worked on the podcast with him once, and not on this podcast, but on another podcast. So he really is a wonderful guy, and to really hit to the community. So obviously our best go out to him and his family. Some other news as well. Wikipedia rolling out their mobile editing for all users, so we'll see how that goes. I have read some complaints about it up on Slashdot and some other places. It's like when anything when they roll out new products, there's always bugs and glitches for them to work out, but they are working on it. But new thing now is that you can edit over your phone. We'll need to see what happens. Wikipedia, obviously, one of the largest open projects out there, so we'll see what happens with that. But they are rolling out, so those of you that do edit the Wikipedia, there is out. You can go ahead and do it now via your mobile device. So, some other things going on as well as far as the world of tech and business goes. BlackBerry's cutting 250 workers. Calls it for efficiency. They're trying to be more efficient. BlackBerry obviously always been a little struggling as of late. They cleared bankruptcy about a year or so ago. Saying it was, it was a move because of more efficiency and all that, but, they definitely struggling, definitely, dropped out of the tablet market. They're not a big player, and they're not a big player in the phone market like they were maybe 5 years ago. So, definitely a company that's on shaky ground. Got rid of their CEO, got a new CEO. They're really a struggling company, but we'll see how they go over the next, with these layoffs. 250 people, is not a huge number, but it still is, people that they don't, that they don't have to pay. And it's, again, this is part of them trying to cut a profit and show their shareholders that they're still trying to make money. So I do feel bad for all those people that going to be looking for work. And obviously BlackBerry based out of Canada. So, they're a struggling economy just like ours. So some other news in the, I guess not so much in the mobile market, but Mark Zuckerberg saying that ads are on the way to Instagram. We kind of knew this was going to happen. During the company's quarterly earnings report, Facebook co-founder Mark Zuckerberg discussed how Instagram, needs to be monetized and needs to make money. It's no secret. They spent billions of dollars for this thing. You kind of knew that, the thing has to make money at some point or another. So they're going to be, monetizing, with advertising revenues and things like that. So, you can't blame them. They're a company. They do got to make money. So, they're definitely going to be looking to earn profits by, putting ads up there, and probably some other things as well. Facebook is a company that, they make a lot of their money, just like Google does, through ad revenue. So, you kind of figured this was going to happen. It wasn't going to stay like it is forever. And you can't blame them. They're a company. They do have to make money. They're publicly owned. They're publicly traded now, so they do have to show their shareholders that they're doing their best to make a profit. So, obviously, I've been joking about this. I said I'm going to do hacks of the week because it seems like every week there's always a hack or two we talk about. Obviously, Ubuntu, obviously big hack. This week, as far as I believe they had their forums got hacked, and obviously they had to deal with data loss and things of that nature. 2 million passwords got compromised. The person did come out and say that they weren't going to use them for anything malicious or anything like that. I'm not sure what they're going to use them for, but the person did come out and say that they weren't going to use them for any type of malicious type of thing. So, not really sure what that was about, but again, they were hacked. It was the forums database. Obviously, Ubuntu One, Launchpad, Ubuntu, the Cardinal services, they weren't affected by the breach. The homepage was down for a while. Unfortunately, the attackers, they got away with, local username, password, email addresses, but, obviously, they were stored and salted and hashed. And like I said, the person has said they weren't going to use them for anything malicious. But if you were a person that was on the forums like I was, I would change your password because we did help out quite a bit with the forums and used to answer questions and stuff. So, if you were like me, I would go ahead and change your password. I did right away. So, While we're talking about Ubuntu, before we go on to the rest of the hack of the weeks, one of the things that is the gentleman that's a co-founder of Ubuntu did an AMA on Reddit, and as you know, Cardinal seeking $32 million to make the Ubuntu smartphone. I actually donated myself, because I was pretty excited about it. So far they've earned like $4.8 million. So they're saying that's so it's one of the fastest ever raised. So that was pretty impressive. But like I said, they did do the founder of Ubuntu, Mark Shuttleworth, actually did an AMA on Reddit, and it was actually really really informal. I really enjoyed it. I actually asked some questions by myself. I did get one answer. I asked him, what was the what part of the the Ubuntu Edge will be open hardware. And he said the specifications will be released as soon as they are final. So we don't know much yet. Obviously, a lot of speculation. He obviously, I know he did say on the on the AMA that the first version of the Edge is to provide a concept to the to people. He also said on the Reddit on the Reddit AMA that. He was definitely, that they're going to leverage the Android app market and that. So again, a lot of speculation, a lot of things that haven't, we don't know a lot about. So we'll see what happens. But he was really great about answering as much questions as he could on Reddit. It was he was talking about how Reddit is a fantastic resource and all that type of stuff, and really just laying it out there. He said this Edge is gonna they want to support the Edge with updates of 14.04 LTS and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens. He did say they know there are going to be alternatives out there as well. The Firefox OS is coming. We know it's coming. It's been talked about forever, but we don't know anything about it yet. But we'll see what happens. I think definitely being a big Ubuntu person myself, I'm actually looking forward to the phone, and I would really enjoy to actually go ahead and use it and all that. So I'm a big supporter of it. I personally will go out and buy one if they come out. I love Ubuntu; it's one of my favorite distros, so I will go out and buy one as soon as it comes out. But I by the way, I'm not somebody that I didn't go out and get the Droid right away. I didn't go out and get the iPhone right away, but this is something I'll probably go out and get right away. So, but like I said, he was doing an AMA on Reddit talking about how he thinks it could come 1 year or two free of Ubuntu One service. So I mean, there's a lot of speculation. He did answer a lot of questions, and I'll put the Reddit information up in the show notes so that everybody can go and look at it and read more of it. But definitely something I'm looking forward to, Debian-based phone and all that type of stuff. I think could go do very very well. So. I'm definitely excited about it, and I hope I hope like everybody else is excited about it. I hope it really takes off for them. They did raise money faster than anybody, so congratulations to them, and really hope it takes off. And man, I'm doing like an ad almost for this thing, but I'm really excited about it. I can't help it. It's just something first time in a while in tech. I'm really excited about something. So. This is something I can't wait. I might even shell out the cash to go and do a podcast right from the keynote when they do it. I'm actually thinking about it. So, but we'll see what happens. As far as more security news, the new Office 2010 and SharePoint 2010 service packs got rolled out. Just so everybody knows, I'm going to throw this up in the show notes as well. The Microsoft OneNote team did an AMA on Reddit as well this week, and since we haven't been talking about it, I'll throw that up in the show notes as well. They answered a lot of good questions about OneNote, and it was more of like we got questions, do you got answers type of thing. So, but it was really really good and really well done. So we'll go ahead, like I said, and throw that up in the show notes. So. It was really, really well. It's actually worth reading if you're a Microsoft person that needs to use OneNote. Going back to the Office 2010 and the SharePoint service packs. While service packs are out of style for a Microsoft operating system, Microsoft has pushed out those service pack SP2 for both Office and SharePoint 2010. They're also going to provide key updates and security updates, obviously for Windows 8 and Internet Explorer 10 and Office 2013 as well as SharePoint 2013. So I know that Microsoft's kind of saying that. I think the service packs are going to be gone as far as on the desktop as far as the consumer end and the desktop end, but I think the server end and all that they're still going to be supporting, because knowing people that are in the server industry and having worked on servers a lot myself, we're not about to update our servers every time Microsoft comes out with a new OS, so they're going to have to keep supporting them. So, not so much a hack of the week, but as far as security news goes, I know I'm a big supporter of the project, and now it's I don't know how I got mixed feelings about it. Microsoft acquiring Sourcefire. I've been a big Sourcefire supporter for years. I've installed tons of them. I love the product. Sourcefire, is a provider of, intelligent cybersecurity solutions. Under the terms of agreement, Cisco will pay $76 per share in cash in exchange for each share of Sourcefire and assume outstanding control of the company. So it's going to be roughly $2.7 billion purchase. So, the acquisition has been approved by the board of directors and also, really excited about it. I'm excited about it, and I'm not. I'm excited because Sourcefire has been has grown exponentially every year. But I don't know if Cisco's buying them to kill them or Cisco's buying them because they want a great product like them. So, I'm curious to see what's going to happen, and I'm excited. I'll be excited if they do something with it. I'll be upset if they kill the product. But that's Sourcefire. They are a really great company, and I'm installed many of as a product I actually do really believe in. So. Like I said, I would, I'd be a little upset if they do kill them. So obviously, a little bit of old news here, but obviously SIM card, cloning, obviously affecting 750 million people around the world. This is, fairly. It's not new, but I mean, it's not something that. It's new. The fact of cloning SIM cards is new, but the fact of cloning phones, by the way, isn't. People were cloning phones back in the 80s and 90s, and using scanners to listen in and stuff like that. They were also, cloning phones to, make calls under other people's names. So, it's a new concept as far as cloning your SIM card, but it's not a new concept as goes as far as cloning phones. Cloning phones is being done for, 20 years now. This is just, cloning your SIM card is just something new. So, obviously SIM cards are among, one of the most widely deployed computer platforms, over, 7 billion cards in active use. So this is a big thing, cracking SIM cards has been like the holy grail for hackers for years, but, the tiny devices that are located in these phones, allow, operators to identify and authenticate and use their subscriptions. And now that they're able to clone the phones, they're afraid people are going to start cloning the phones. And by the way, this, like I said, this isn't anything, this isn't anything extremely new. People have been cloning phones for years. It's just new to the current cell phone architecture. I mean, people were cloning phones, analog phones in the 80s and 90s. So, obviously, a German company found the hack, and they are presenting it at Black Hat if they haven't already. I tried to find out if they had presented or not, and I was unable to find it. So, but I know they'll be presenting at Black Hat. So. But that being said, again, it's a little bit older, a little bit older type news, but it was important to bring up. So, and as my computer loads up here, because I have another story I wanted to talk about, Russian hackers charged, for stealing 160 million credit cards. Group of hackers, 4 Russians, allegedly broke computer networks in more than a dozen major and American companies. Since 2007, this has been going on, and they compromised several credit card numbers, through global payment systems and all that type of stuff. So, if I'm not mistaken, I believe some of the big names in this were like JCPenney's and some of the bigger stores. So. This has been going on. I think a firm in New Jersey discovered it. So, they're charging like $10 per credit card or something like that. 15 European on some of them. It's pretty. It's been going on. Like I said, companies like JCPenney's and all that are involved in this, and I'm sure they'll get it all squared away and cleaned up. But yeah, it's been going on since like 2007. So. Some other stuff going on. Again, a little bit of old news here, but the the free calling app Viber website was defaced this week. Viber was a pretty neat app. I use it on my phone. I did anyway. Now that I'm not, but I did for a while. They were what they were doing was they were taking what happened was you can, as long as you called through Viber, you can get free phone calls. It was free over IP. So it really was a really neat concept. I liked it, and I used it quite a bit. But it got defaced. The website got defaced and all that. And they're saying that the database could have been hacked by SEA. So not if you're using that particular app, I suggest you try something else. It is one of the most popular free calling apps, for the smartphone. It's, they haven't done exactly saying, they did tell TechCrunch, about, but they said, it was defaced, but the data itself was safe, but, that's what they're saying, but, who really knows what they got? They took down the defaced domain, obviously, to fix it. So, it's really important that they said that they know that, that the no sensitive data. Oh, there was another release. Excuse me. No sensitive user data was exposed, and the Viber database was not hacked. Sensitive private user information was not compromised. So that's good to know. Obviously, some other stuff going on as well. Massive databases from Tango Messenger service hacked. That was another hack of the week, I guess we'll start calling them, I guess. That was another major one over the week. And for those who don't know, Tango is the company that hosts Candy Crush. So, kind of interesting to see, as popular as that is. Kind of neat to see that kind of get hacked. Considering, it is a fairly heavily hit service. So, it's SEA, again, Syrian Electronic Army, a hacker group known for its cyber attacks against anti-Syrian websites, has claimed that it has hacked a website messaging application, Tango. It was the messaging service. It was not the actual game. And posted on the website that the database content of millions of the app's users' phone numbers and contents were stolen. More than 1.5 terabytes of data was of backups were stolen. So again, they took a pretty hard hit. I'm sure they'll be cleaning up, after that. And there's even pictures of the logs and all that stuff out there to show you that it was hacked. So some other stuff going on as far as hacks go. Anonymous obviously hacked and exposed details of U.S. FEMA contractors. That's, of course, up on, I believe it's on CryptoBin, I believe it was on. Take a quick look. I do have the story marked for this. This is actually, when you actually looked at the database of stuff, and like I said, it was the password. They put it up on, I believe, CryptoBin. Neat. Actually, CryptoBin is kind of a neat service. It hashes it and then you give out the password, but they put it up there and it's still actually there for everybody to see. But yeah, CryptoBin is it's up there for everybody to see. There's a list of contractors and stuff like that. But apparently, Anonymous is saying they got it. So, some other news as well. Obviously, Symantec spots 2 Android apps using master key vulnerability. I don't have any more information on the story right now, but as it develops, we'll keep an eye on it. Some other news that I guess I wanted to talk about as well. Obviously, the FreeBSD co-founder Jordan Hubbard leaving Apple after he had a long stint with them. He actually created FreeBSD, but apparently had a long stint with them, and now he's heading over to iXsystems. So, not really saying why he left, but apparently he'll be heading up, the FreeNAS project. It's Apple's. Apple's loss is kind of their gain. So, he's obviously Apple has the largest Unix distribution in the world, but It's kind of neat that he's going, and wish him the best. And another guy, this guy's kind of like Linus Torvalds. He made something that really affected a huge amount of people. So. Some other news as far as, speaking of Apple, obviously Apple's profits fall about 22%, but the iPhone sales are up. And that's kind of expected with Apple. They're coming up here and they're going to be releasing another product soon in the fall. Which, by the way, that's not rumor. I mean, they've done it every year for the last 3 years now. So, third quarter revenue showed 35.3 billion in profits, 6.9 billion and $7.47 a share revenue. Basically results from results from a year ago, but it's profits were off about $2 billion compared to what they originally projected. It looks like Macs obviously are their sales are about what they were last year. The iPad sales dipped slightly from 4 to 14.6 million. And obviously, the iPhone sales are up from 26 to 31. So, I mean, obviously, that's just the way the industry is right now. So, it just happens that way. But Apple, it's just like anything else. Things go up and down. And people like their Macs, they hang on to them. Apple makes good products. Apple pretty much relies on people trading in their iPads and their iPhones every couple of years, so to make money. So it's nothing really out of the ordinary for them. But it's it is what it is, and they're Apple's numbers are a little off, but I mean, believe me, they're still very profitable. So. Another thing, too, Google launching a cloud printing service for Windows. That's kind of neat. Kind of a cool thing they're doing. Google, announced it's bringing the cloud printer project to Windows. The company launched both driver and services for Windows available. You can download now from Google Tools. Kind of a neat thing, and I kind of figured this was coming. Because cloud printing has always been kind of an issue, and I kind of figured Google was gonna get on it and try to, because now only do they know what you're searching, what your email is, and stuff. Now they know what you're printing. So I kind of figured that was going to happen. But it's kind of a cool service, especially if you're using anybody who uses Windows tablets. I don't know who you are, but if you are using a Windows tablet, at least now you can print. So. Oracle, obviously, some other stuff, some news going on with them right now. Obviously, they're suing two companies for apparently providing OS support in an illegal manner. Obviously, Oracle has software codes and stuff you have to be approved for to be able to support companies, and obviously there are such things that they didn't requirements they didn't meet, so now they have a lawsuit against them providing support without being properly, I guess, certified or whatever. So that's kind of a neat thing that Oracle's doing. They've actually been going after companies for providing support without their approval. So, not really sure why they're doing it, but they've been doing it. Some other news as far as other companies go. Netflix, obviously, introducing. They're saying they're going to introduce some new plans. I'm not really sure why, but they're talking about they have some new plans. I think what this is referring to is they're going to add some new shows. Apparently, they landed, obviously, they scored with, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, and Time Warner content recently. I guess they're looking to go ahead and do some other things as far as, I guess they have a new plan, how they might handle subscriptions. So we'll see how that goes. They have not much information on it yet. It might just be rumor, but... Steve Ballmer, by the way, talking about Microsoft earlier, Ballmer admits that Microsoft built too many Surface RT tablets, and they're disappointed with the sales. Obviously, Microsoft taking a huge hit with their sales. I believe it's something like a $900 million loss. One of the biggest losses, by the way, in the company history. And, this is all based because they said they built too many of them. It's not selling as well as Windows expected. So, Surface tablet, I mean, I was just picking on people a couple minutes ago, but if you really look at it, the Surface tablet, I mean, getting the free version of Office is kind of worth it to wait in gold for some people, but other people not. But it is kind of heavy. I have held one and used one. It is kind of heavy. So, and we all remember the infamous joke a while back how when they broke into into a Microsoft facility and only took the iPads and didn't take the Surfaces. So that was kind of a funny story a while back. But again, that Microsoft, taking a huge hit with this. Obviously, as we know, Microsoft partnering with Best Buy to open up Windows stores now. Almost all the Best Buys have Apple stores. Now they're opening up Windows stores, and as we all know, Best Buy is starting to go private. So, but again, that's Microsoft again is still with this restructure. We'll have to see what happens. But as far as Google, obviously announcing a lighter, kind of smaller Nexus 7 with high-res screen, and arrives July 30th for $230. So I'm sure people are going to run out and buy that. It looks like a pretty. It looks like it's like their best tablet yet. It's about a year ago since they released their last one, so you kind of expected it. But it's got 1920 by 1200 video display. Pixel density of 323. It's an IPS. It's got a pretty good. It's got a 1.5 megahertz quad core S4 Pro. 320 GPU, 2 gigs of RAM. So it's pretty good. It's going to utilize Android 4.3. So it's kind of neat. Looks really good. We'll see what happens with that. Looks like so some devices will work on AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon 4G. The LTE edition comes with 32 gigs of storage and costs about $349. But there will be a 230 model with 32 gigs of RAM and costs about $270. So, but that one's only got 16. Oh, that's a Wi-Fi version only, and that'll be 16 gigs. So it looks like if you want to use it on your cell phone network, you're gonna have to cost you a little more, but it definitely looks really slick. Some other things too, as well as stuff going on with that, is we also have to talk about obviously the Samsung overtaking Apple as the most profitable phone maker. That was kind of neat out there. Apple held the top spot for like 4 years, and now they're finally giving way to Samsung. So Samsung obviously is beating them out. Apple's it's no longer the top spot, but then again, during the second quarter, Samsung's global handset profits hit $5.2 billion, which beats Apple's $4.6 billion. So definitely, overtake them a little bit. But again, Apple also as well dropped down to number one. They didn't drop it to number one. They got bumped to the number 3 spot as far as hardware manufacturer. I believe for PCs, top spot, believe it or not, Lenovo's really exploded. They've taken the number 1 spot. HP's number 2, which HP's been number 1 for a very long time. And, of course, that'll bump Apple into the number 3 spot. So, Apple, kind of being kicked off its throne a little bit, but, again, still a very profitable company. But, again, it's Samsung posting, obviously, the record profits of $8.5 billion as they said, as their mobile business shrinks. But when you're putting $8.5 billion in profits, I don't know how you can say the mobile market's shrinking. But that's what they're saying. So, but again, they did take the number 1 spot, so good for them. Obviously, some other news as far as the business news goes. Obviously, Zynga's new CEO. They say the Zynga's working on a competitor for Candy Crush. We'll see how that goes. Zynga reported having 3 of the top Facebook games as of June 30th. These games were Word with Friends, Zynga Poker, and Farmville 2. But obviously Zynga, a struggling company, as we all know. Zynga, winning on Facebook continues to be important to them. Obviously, 68% of the company's bookings revenue come from Facebook. So the company really is really needs to do something. Obviously, they've been struggling a little bit, especially with Candy Crush out there. And one of the things Zynga's struggling with is keeping people on the games for a very long time. As we all know, Zynga, they struggle a little bit because, people, the game is like, oh, this is really cool. And then after, a couple of months or whatever, it dies out. So Zynga's struggle has always been trying to keep people playing the games for a very long period of time. And I believe that's what they're working on. And the CEO stated they are working on a competitor for Candy Crush. So the only thing with games like this, you really can't force it. Either people like it or people don't. You really can't force it. It's just like a viral video. you know, you can't force either it goes viral or it doesn't, you know. So, but obviously Candy Crush is the #1 app on Facebook right now. But I mean, things, you know, stuff like that always goes, you know, comes in and out. Some other things going on here in business news. Obviously, Facebook revenue jumped 53% with a strong mobile growth. You know, stocks soared 20%. You know, Facebook. You know, this new thing that they're doing with the with everything going on with trying to graphic search and all type of stuff. It's catching on, but it's just catching on slowly. But it definitely shows they have $333 million profit, or 13 cents on a share, which equals like $1.81 billion. You know, so it definitely is showing them growth. But you know, again, you know, things are catching on. They're just catching on slowly. And you know, Zuckerberg has even come out and said, "Hey, you know, we're not cool among the teenage crowd anymore." But he's not worried about it. And yeah, I don't know why he's not worried about it, but you know, he's pretty much come out and said that he knows they're not popular among the teenage crowd anymore. So, but again, you know, Facebook's definitely without a doubt not hurting. I mean, they're still doing very, very profitable. So, I'm sure Mark Zuckerberg has a plan. Being the CEO he is, I'm sure he's got something up his sleeve. I mean, as we all know, Facebook's been, you know, they work on things, you know, pretty constantly. So they always have something new coming down the pipe. I mean, just like Apple, they have a 10-year plan usually. So, you know, definitely a company that's going to be, I think Facebook is definitely going to be, you know, around to stay for quite a while. So, and this is moving on here, beginning off of the whole Facebook topic, moving on obviously to our question and answer section. What I found is people were submitting questions to me, and I couldn't get to them. Or I would email them back, and then other people would have the same questions and stuff. So what I found is the best way to do it was through social networking. So on Twitter at LaPannyTech, if you have any questions, just give the hashtag #AskTechGeek, and I'll answer them back. And this way, everybody as well gets them. You know, on Twitter, and if anybody has a question, they don't have to, you know, go ahead and ask the same question twice. It just made it much more easier. Plus, too, it gave us more of a social end to the show, which is what I want to do. I really like making the show very social, interacting with people, and with Twitter, it lets me do that. So I really enjoy that. And plus, too, by the way, any questions that you have, obviously we post the questions right up in the show notes. You can go ahead and look if you have any questions. Actually, if you do have questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. But I do find that some people end up going right through the show notes and finding the answer, and then they just listen to the podcast, and their question is answered. So, first question we have, and is so this is kind of neat. Somebody says, am I old enough to sell on eBay? I'm 15. Well, legally you have to be 18 to sell on eBay because you do need a PayPal account or in a credit card, so you do have to be 18. With your parents' permission, you can go ahead and sell on eBay. And so just have your parents, you know, help you get set up. And you should be okay as long as your parents are supervising. But go ahead and you got to be 18. So one of the cool things that is kind of neat is, and I tell people this all the time, is that so many people have young kids that have Facebook accounts, and it says you're supposed to be 18 with a parent's permission. I can tell you, I know quite a few people that have Facebook accounts that aren't 18. So, and I know their parents didn't give them permission. So again, you know, it's one of those types of things. But on eBay, since you're dealing with money, it's a little more important to make sure you have a parent's permission. So go ahead and just have your parents do it with you, and you should be all right. I have another question. How do I remove browser plugins in Safari? That's kind of a neat thing. I actually had to look at this because I never did it before. And to actually remove a Safari plugin, you actually have to go ahead and you have to click on Options and then click on Go. And in the menu bar, you have to select Library. And inside the library, look under Safari Extensions folder. And in there, you'll find your plugins. And you have to hit Command-Shift-C and click, and that will remove it from the library. So you can also go into System Preferences and do it and look under Extension Options. You can uninstall it there. But that was actually a really good question, and I actually had to look up how to do that one because it's something I haven't had to do in a while. Some people asking as well here, what is the best cloud storage, or should I use an external drive? What I would recommend for you is to go ahead and you can use Google Drive or Dropbox, one of those guys, just to have external, external storage, off-site backups, or you can have the ability to put your hard drive in a fireproof, an external drive in a fireproof box, something like that, just for safety and security. That's what I would do. That's what I do myself. So, I have off-site backups as well as I have, a backup in a log box. Do I need to another question we got is, do I need to reinstall Windows after replacing my motherboard? Yeah, you're going to have to. It's always been that way. It's been that way since the start of computers, unfortunately. Unless you're replacing it with the same type of motherboard. I know a lot of times on Dells I've replaced it with I've replaced the motherboard with the same motherboard, and I've been okay. It's if you're changing it with a different motherboard. Like if you're going, as long as if you buy the motherboard from the vendor and it's the exact same motherboard, you should be okay. It's if you're replacing it with a different motherboard, like an aftermarket one, that you're going to have to reload Windows. And unfortunately, there's no way to get around that. So just back up your stuff and do the format. The next question we had is, how can I make professional graphics for use in videos? Well, there's expensive programs out there that you could use that Adobe makes. I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head right now. I think I know Blender is free. It's a little bit more difficult to use, but it is free, and you can go ahead and use that one. I believe the one that you purchase from Adobe is going to be a little more expensive, but it is a little bit easier to use. And I'm trying to think of the name of what that one is off the top of my head. But there is I'm sorry, that's right, it's Adobe After Effects. I just found it because I personally run the Adobe product on my machine because I just find it's easier. But Blender is a free one, and so I would go ahead. If you're just going to do something little, go with Blender. If you need to do something really, really advanced, I would go ahead and use Adobe. Adobe After Effects is going to run you a little bit. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pulling up the price of it now. I believe it's going to probably run you about. Actually, it's not that bad, because if you get the Adobe Creative Cloud. You're going to pay, annual, the annual plan, $49 a month. You also buy, and then After Effects. After Effects, you can just get After Effects itself, for monthly for $19.99. The Creative Cloud. So, not too bad. And also, they have. You can try it too, free. So, there's two options there for you. But that actually is a very good idea. And the Creative Cloud is pretty good. If you really want to. If you need to do one video, it's a one-time fit. You can just pay it for that month and do what you need to do, and then be done with it. So it's up to you. But Blender is good, but it still is hard to use, though. I shut my computer down one night, and now it keeps asking me to insert the boot drive. Oof. There's a product out there called the Ultimate Boot Disk. Find out, open up the side of your computer or wherever. If it's a laptop, open up the bottom and find out what kind of hard drive you have, and then insert. And then what you do is you download this ISO and you make like a bootable jump drive or a CD. Run a hard drive test. If that passes, you just might have a corrupted drive. You might be able to fix it with a check disk or something. But that's what I recommend. Unfortunately, I really think you got a bad drive, but run a drive test first and see what you get. But you have to make sure, like I said, you run it. It's the Ultimate Boot Disk. It's a really good tool. I would use that. Try to run some tests. What is the best slideshow program? I think it really depends on what you like. OpenOffice has a free one. Obviously, there's PowerPoint. There's one for there's slides for the Mac. It really depends on really what you want to do. There's so many different ones out there nowadays. Years ago, it's really hard to say. But like I said, go ahead and just go ahead and find one you like and just learn how to use it. That's really the best advice I can give you. So that's going to be all for this week's podcast as far as questions go. I want to thank everybody for listening. Like I said, this is the 20th podcast, kind of a small milestone for us here at the technologygeek.org. And like I said, you can follow me on my Twitter at LaPannyTech. Like I said, we post daily on the site, thetechnologygeek.org, and our weekly podcast. And I want to thank everybody for listening and supporting the show. And we will talk to you next week. Thank you very much.